Okay, hello all you people out there, this is Michael of the 2.5 Stooges, and welcome back to this chess tutorial in Game Maker. So, starting off, sorry it's been quite a while since the last time I did one of these videos. This particular video has actually been quite a pain to record. There have been multiple takes on it that I didn't really like and I just threw away because they didn't seem right. Then I finally got one yesterday that seemed okay, except that my screen recorder was not recording the right part of my screen. And I went to edit an hour-long video and I discovered that there was nothing useful in it. So that was a very nice way to, that was a very nice thing to discover at like 12:30 in the morning. Anyway, have all these pieces. They look like chess pieces. They don't do anything. That's what we're going to be doing today. So this is pretty much the most important bits of a chess game engine. So actually, this is a complicated video. I actually have access to a second monitor today, and I've got all kinds of like notes and stuff on that one. So, first thing, when you click on a piece, it'll have to highlight the locations it can move to, right? If you want to, you can be lazy and highlight all the locations on the board and leave it up to the player to move in accordance to, say, a legal move, but that's no fun. So, I went ahead and made this little highlight sprite. It's a little block thing that's slightly bubbled around the edges. And that's what we're going to be using. I think in my original file I was using a circle, but whatever. Anyway, so I'm also going to go and create an object for that, and it's not going to do anything at the moment. It's going to do stuff later. Okay, pieces movements. This is what I thought was probably the most interesting part when I was putting this together for the first time. Each chess piece has a set of locations that it can move to. Pawn is a bad example because pawns are weird. But knights, bishops, rooks, queens, and kings, they'll have a specific set of locations that they can move to pretty much at any time in the game, except for kings have one weird exception when it comes to castling, but I'll get to that later. So, what you could do is, say, I like the rook as an example. So remember user defined 0? I'm pretty sure I introduced that in the last part of this tutorial thing, but we could say for the rook, all its possible moves can be described by, I made a typo, you didn't see nothing, right? Over 1 and down 0, or copy and paste this a couple times, back 1 and down 0, or over 0, down 1, or over 0 and back 1, right? I'm just going to index this a little bit and have it all nice and usable. 4 possible moves, and you can stretch it as many times as you want until you hit another piece or the end of the board or whatever. So I'm gonna say possible moves equals 4, and scaled is true because you can repeat that until you hit whatever. Okay, so we have a couple new variables here. I could go and define this for all how many pieces. A lot of pieces. I actually have all this open in my original file. This is a bishop, for example. You need that. I'm just going to copy and paste this because I don't feel the need to describe how chess pieces move. Okay, so that's all finished. Knights, if anyone's confused about that, the knights are just like any other piece, except they can move over, say, 2 and down 1 instead of just like 1 square in a direction at a time. People like to describe knights as they're the chess pieces that can jump, but they don't actually jump. They just kind of, if you think of the pieces as they can all teleport to another square, then the knights can just do that. They can just do it to farther away. So, that out of the way. There's something on my desk, I don't know what it is. I'll leave that up to your imagination. Okay, so now that you have the array of possible moves that a piece can make, it would be good when you click on them, mouse, left pressed event, or left release, doesn't really matter. Some people prefer pressed, some people prefer released. We're going to tell the game to highlight all the possible moves. And just because this doesn't really matter, but I'm going to pass it one argument that's itself. Technically you don't really need that at all, and it would probably be less typing if you did, but I think it shows what's going on better when you have the argument. If you're ever in doubt over whether or not you should like keep passing an object on as an argument through like a chain of functions. You should just do it just to be safe. Save you some typing of going back and fixing it later if you change your mind. If you decide you do need it, that is. Anyway, so the helpline. By the way, recently Game Maker Studio put out a beta update that lets you put, say, 3 slashes there, and you can type your own helpline. So the way like a built-in function would, or one in an extension or something. So that's pretty cool. So that's our helpline here. Unfortunately, 8.1 still doesn't have that. They are improving Studio slowly. My opinion of it is getting a little better gradually, but this is still 8.1. Anyway, so what do we want to do here? Well, first thing I guess we should probably say that and take the argument. Now, to be able to efficiently show all of the possible moves by looping through the array, we're going to need, I think, I is less than piece dot possible moves and plus equals 1. We're going to be looping there, and we're going to be treating it differently if piece.scaled equals true and otherwise. So remember, piece.scaled would be the variable telling whether you can move infinitely in a direction, like a queen or a rook or whatever, and if it's false you can't. That would be like the pawn or the king or the knights. So in any case, if you can't move until you hit the end of the board, say you could use a while loop here, it would be more efficient, but I'm gonna just say for j equals 0, nope, 1, j is less than 8, because 8 is pretty much the bounds of the board. Just hard coding this because it doesn't make a difference in this case, and it's a little bit simpler. J plus equals 1. So this will be looping through all of the possible pieces in front of you in a direction. So we have that. I'm just going to say that because keeping the scope of the variables controlled. This is where it gets tricky. So you could say instance create some x, some y, and one of those highlight objects, but I'm going to wrap that in another function because there are a few things that I want to happen to it, and I don't want to be copying and pasting blocks of code because that's no fun. If you ever have to copy and paste a block of code more than twice, you're probably doing something wrong. So highlight location for the sake of not using the same function name as the variable, and we're going to tell it the location piece.xx .xx plus piece.move I and 0 times j. I'm just going to write out a line of syntax for a little bit, and then I'll explain what it does. It's surprisingly hard to think while you type. And oops, 1. And once again, I'm going to make this full screen. For the sake of safety, we're just going to pass it the chess piece that we're using right now again, just because makes it a little easier maybe. Now we don't actually have a function that says highlight location with this line of arguments. Code help, go away. Code help like shows up when you don't want it to, and it isn't there when you do want it to. So more simply, the help line is going to be some x position, some y position, and some chess piece, and it doesn't return a value, so we're just going to say void, assuming I spelled that right. Now, as always, we're going to do that. I spelled something else wrong. There. It's brown syntax highlighting. Anyway, so now we have all that. We can say, oh, I don't know, XX. We want to be able to create the piece at the physical location on the screen rather than the coordinates on the board. So that's going to be, I think, 40 plus 64 times XX, 40 plus 64 times YY, and one of those things. Okay, so this isn't all that's going to be in here, otherwise I would just say do this inside this script, but we're going to be doing a little bit more to this highlight object soonish. Actually, why not do it now? So we're going to save the index, reference it so to say, and we're going to just assign it a few values here. So as always, it's going to know its position on the board, and it's going to know its Y position on the board, and it's going to know its owner. Okay, so we'll come back to this later, probably. Let's see. When you click on a piece, it's going to do this. This is not yet complete. We still need an else for piece.scale equals false. My voice sounds weird today. I'm sorry. I don't know. I've been talking a lot yesterday, and I don't think that's been going very well for my vocal cords there. This is going to be pretty much the same thing, except there is no J loop variable thing. If there was, it would be a little bit of using variables that it doesn't know exists. Oh wait. Why? Yeah, I just cut the video awkwardly. I ran the game and it didn't do anything. I'm looking for errors. Oh, duh. Yeah, we're in the wrong object. Just generic chess piece object. You want? Yeah, that looks better. So what is the syntax error? Oh, brackets in the parentheses. Yeah, oops. I'm gonna be yelling at myself in annotations right now. So now, click on that, and pawns are showing up. Pawns are weird. I'm gonna be dealing with them later. Bishops are probably a better example. The queen. Whoa! I did not. Real quick, the queen is missing a variable. That's bad. Restarting this quickly. The king moves in a square. The queen can go anywhere. That looks really bizarre. This is like perfect modern art right here. Yeah, you get the idea. There's a bunch of problems with this. You don't go anywhere when you click on something. You can click on multiple things and have them activated at the same time. They're on top of each other. They're off the board. We got a couple things to deal with in this video. So first, I'm going to deal with being off the board. Now, going in here, highlighting possible moves. So we could say if it would be nice if we could say something like if the location is not on the board, then do something. So what should we do when we wish we could have a function? Well, the good idea would be to make it ourselves, right? So this is going to just be a short little script, and it's going to return true or false. And it's going to take a x and a y, so hooray for lazy video editing. I'm just going to rename those two arguments there because I don't feel like typing them out a couple times. And we're just going to return xx is greater than 0 and xx is less than 8. Because remember the coordinates on the board go from 0 to 7. And y is greater than 0, and y is less than 8. This isn't a terribly useful function, but it's easier than... We're going to be using this in a couple places, and it's easier than typing out this line constantly. If you're not familiar with this type of expression, it's what goes in like conditionals. Like you could say if something is true, then do something. This inside the statement is actually pretty much a miniature function that evaluates true or false. And you could actually, if you want to, like, use it as a true or false anywhere. You could assign it to a variable or return it in a function or whatever. Parentheses aren't really necessary. It's just there for readability mostly. So now, location on board. This is not color coded because I made the script after writing it. So just that's better. Pretty much just like type a random letter into the middle of a function and backspace it if it doesn't exist, and it suddenly does. Then you're just gonna exit out of the script. Don't do anything, don't create anything. Don't need these. You're just gonna exit. So run the game again. Something's not working. Oh. Typos. Why? Yeah. Run the game again. Oh, I know what's going wrong. Let's see. We want greater than or equal to 8. Don't mind me, just screwing stuff up as I always do. Let's run the game again. Alright, perfect. That's doing what it's supposed to. Clicking on a bunch of random chess pieces and the board is getting completely filled up and it looks really stupid. Yeah. It's a very strange looking game we have there. Could be like Tetris or something. Anyway, what to deal with next? I would say dealing with the pieces being on top of each other. Yeah, let's deal with the pieces being on top of each other. I don't need this note sheet anymore because there's only one major thing left to do in here. Actually, no. Let's say you can only have one piece highlighted at a time now. So we can just say, given our knowledge of how this game works, if instance number is there's more than 0 of those highlight objects, and that's parentheses, then if the owner of the object is equal to this piece right here that got clicked on, then we're just going to deselect that piece with deleting all the highlight objects. And then I should probably wrap this in curly braces, because when you have multiple nested ifs with no curly braces, it tends to get a little bit weird. I don't like curly braces, but sometimes you have to use them. Then let's see exactly what I mean here, like wrong conditional attaching stuff to here. Okay, so what this basically does, if something's already highlighted, if there are more than 0 of those objects on the board, then if the highlight objects belong to the piece that got clicked on, you're going to deselect it by destroying all the objects. Otherwise, if the piece's owner is not equal to the piece that got clicked on, you can't do anything. It's locked, so to say, without really being locked. Otherwise, if there are exactly 0 of these things, or if there's negative, that doesn't make sense, then you're free to do whatever you want. So let's run the game again, see what happens. I click on a knight, and it's you can go places. Now I click on a bishop, can't do anything. However, I click on a knight again. I know you can't really see me clicking because my screen recorder does not pick up my mouse. It usually doesn't matter, and it's probably better for my CPU to be doing that, so just take my word for it, I'm clicking on stuff. Alright, so that works. You can only have one thing selected at a time. The board looks much more civilized now. Civilized. That's one way to put it. Now the only real thing left to do is dealing with, say, collisions with other pieces. I don't really think collisions is the right word, but you could say, if pretty much in the chess piece event, if you collide with another piece, if you're created on top of another piece, then just destroy the other piece, or something like that. But that would lead to a couple problems, since the pieces of you and your opponents are treated differently. As you know, you can't take the place of one of your teammates in chess, but you can take the place of one of your opponents up until pretty much the first one that you run into. Capturing them, essentially. Okay. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to make this a little variable. It has hit roadblock. Now that's a very funny name. That's also misspelled. That's better. But it's the best I could come up with for what to do here. Now this is actually pretty simple. It took me a while to figure out on my own, but it's actually pretty simple when you look at it. And that's going to be set to false by default. So this is going to get reset every time you loop through a different set of possible moves in the array, in the move array. What it does is it's going to tell the game whether or not you run into another piece. So inside, I'm going to be dealing with the scaled option first. If it's scaled in the first loop here, if that is true, you can drop the continue keyword. Now what that does, it's kind of like a break, that thing, except it just pretty much skips the rest of this and goes on to the next iteration of the loop. There's probably a different way you could do this. I don't know how efficient this exactly is, but it works, so yeah, we're gonna go with that. So now, if this is true, we're gonna do something that's great, but it's not ever gonna get set to true. This is unreachable code, so to say. So, if we're gonna say if there's a piece at the location that we're looking to move to, if there's a piece at this location, then we're gonna do something. So, I'm going to copy that. Say if there's a piece at the location, and I'm going to define this function in a minute. Then, no, I'm not going to do that. If piece at the location, I should probably simplify this expression a little bit, but whatever. But if that piece is color, whoa. Because remember, they're assigned a color. If it equals the piece that's calling this function's color, the piece that wants to move, then they're a teammate, and you're just gonna break out of this. Else, they're an opponent, so we're gonna set roadblock to true, but we're not gonna break out. We're gonna still highlight the location, because remember, in chess you can go up to one of your opponents and have the opportunity to capture them. So this is gonna be true, but we're still gonna move on to their square, or we're gonna still highlight their square. And then on the next time we come through the loop, it's gonna be false, and you're gonna continue. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. This is very heavy in logic, and pretty much knowing chess from a algorithmic standpoint. Now we're still missing a script. What's it called? Piece at location, right? So we're gonna say helpline is gonna return a chess piece. Now it's possible for the location to be off the board. I don't think in any code I have so far it is, but we're just gonna put this in as a safeguard. So if x and y, then we're gonna return no one, essentially null in other programming languages. I say that all the time. Also, we will want to, because scopes and stuff. Okay, so if the location isn't on the board, return no one, so the game doesn't crash. And if it is on the board, then return the object that's in the board's array at position x, x, and y, y. So that's simple enough. We're going to get the piece here. Once again, re-syntax highlighting this. No errors, it does what it's supposed to. Alright, let's run this. So pawns are good. Yes, pawns are good. Your rook, you're good. Bishop. Knight is not good. That's because knight that scaled is not true, so we have to treat that separately. King, yeah, same thing. Okay. So, yeah, that does remind me. Piece is a scaled variable is not true. That makes it a little bit easier, because we can just say if piece at that location not equal to no one, and if the piece is color equals your color, then you quite simply break out of the loop. And if it and otherwise you can just move on to that location because you're capturing a piece. Alright, let's try this again. You're good. You're yeah, I always do that. Forgot that causes an error when you're trying to use a variable that doesn't exist. I caught myself the first time, I think, but that time not so much luck. Alright, so let's try that again. Come on, for seriously. Alright, knights, kings, perfect. Okay, so one more thing. You will be noticing when it comes to possible moves that if I were to click on one of these pawns that don't do anything, that's because they're still trying to move to the right. To fix that, quite simply, you can go into the chords create event when the pawns are created, and if the color is black, so I'm just gonna loop through here for once again I equals 0, I is less than 8, and I plus equals 1. Then we're just gonna say board what's that column 7 and I, and we're just gonna column 6 rather. We're just going to say move 0, 0 equals -1 as opposed to +1, and 1 0 and 2 0. Okay, so that's it's kind of cheating by hard coding, but whatever, it works. The pawns are now going in the right direction. Everyone else is still going the way they normally are. Alright, so now last thing on this list, actually moving. When you click on a highlight object, let's say left pressed, there's a couple things you have to do with moving. Firstly, you should probably be setting the original X and Y location on the board to no one, so that the board doesn't think you're still in the original location, or that there's something that's still in the original location. And there's no one, and that's a typo. Oh, keyboards are fun. Now, next thing is update the actual position, both the coordinates on the board and the physical ones on the screen. Okay, so you've moved. Now, also, if there's a piece that can be captured, you're going to want to do that. If piece at a location x, xx and yy is not equal to no one. I actually don't know what'll happen if you try to delete a no one object. That didn't make a lot of sense, but I don't know if that first check is necessary, but it's just a little bit cleaner than it could be. Oh, duh. That is not the syntax for instance destroy. Okay, so you're taking the piece if there is one. You're updating the positions, and the last thing you want to do is get rid of all the highlight objects so you can keep moving after that. So we're going to say that. Instead of deleting a specific piece, we're going to delete all instances of the highlight. Alright, let's try this. I am going to click on a pawn, I'm going to move you, pawns, they're a little bit weird when it comes to moving, like I said before, so I'm just going to stop there. Knights, the knight's behavior is a little bit weird, I'll deal with that in a minute, but I captured you, perfect. Capturing you, just jumping around the board, taking pieces. It's all good. Alright, so I still want to see why when I was sitting, where was I? Here. Should be pointing out this location. There's still 3 locations that it should be pointing out, but it's not. And I don't get that. Whoa, let's see, I think that should be a continue there, because that'll just like skip to the rest of the loop instead of just breaking out of the loop entirely. Yeah, that looks better. So, what else? Mostly, the only thing left to do here is graphics. The highlight object probably should not appear over the other chess pieces, because that's just weird. It can make a difference in the way you view the game and what move you decide to use. Very slightly. So let's see, the draw depth, the Board should be behind everything, so that should be positive depth. I think I set that off screen. The pieces should be on top of everything, so they're going to be 0, and the highlight should be 1. Okay, so just try that again. Okay, let's just jump over here. Good, they appear under the thing instead of over, and it makes it much easier to see. That's it for me here. This is everything I wanted to cover in this video. It's rather long, and a couple other finer points like official turns, I think. Pawns are evil. Probably I'll get something like pawn promotion. Maybe castleization and the game deciding that you're in checkmate and stuff in the last part of this tutorial. So for now, I do hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of that. It's very involved, let's just say. Rate, comment, subscribe, watch the rest of this tutorial if you haven't already, and I will see you later.